What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be recapping the New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers first matchup of the season. We win 20-17 in Carolina's house. So, the good news first, the New Orleans Saints are 2-0 for the first time in 10 fucking years. Since 2013, the New Orleans Saints have lost one of their first two games, and we finally broke the week 2 curse. Because for the last 5 years, we've won week 1 and lost week 2. So thank God it's broken. It's over. Hallelujah. That spells good things, I think, for this upcoming season. Maybe things can be a little different. I do have my gripes with this game, which we're going to get into here soon. But let's go over and give a general overview of what happened in the New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers bout. So first, we're going to talk about the offensive side of the ball. Derek Carr played an okay game. There was this one interception is like the one versus Tennessee where he throws into triple coverage for literally no reason. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why he's doing this. I know Derek Carr hasn't been the best quarterback ever during his tenure in the NFL, but he still knows not to make decisions like the ones he's made the past 2 weeks and has still made them. Very upsetting to see, and it makes me kind of nervous going forward because I don't like the looks of that. It looks like the same old song and dance with the quarterback here, the quarterback play here. Derek Carr, though, has shown the ability to win football games unlike our other options, though. Even when the Saints need a touchdown or need a drive to really send things home and win a game, Derek Carr the last 2 weeks has shown that he is fully capable of doing that. Last week with huge chunk plays to Rashid Shaheed. This week with one of the best catches I have ever seen by Chris Olave, and he made some really big plays towards the end of the game as well. 2 drives that got the Saints into scoring range where Tony Jones Jr. was able to run it in for a touchdown. So I liked what I seen from Derek Carr in his ability to finish games, but these slow starts have to go. It was the same thing in 2022, the same thing in 2021. These slow starts are going to kill us when we play a better team. We played Bryce Young and we played Ryan Tannehill. We need to make sure that we start a little bit faster on offense because I'm telling you right now, a good team will eat that shit up like crazy. Our defense is amazing, but they can only do so much. Taysom Hill was involved. Well, let's go over Derek Carr's stat line real quick. Let me not forget. 21 completions off of 36 attempts, an ugly ass ratio, 228 yards, no passing touchdowns, which was a bummer, and a pick. That pick was disgusting. Let's not even talk about it. Taysom Hill threw a ball as well. Derek Carr wasn't the only one to throw a pass today. 1 for 1 with 8 yards on passing. So shout out to Taysom Hill. I'm so glad we got him involved today. This looked like a game from last year or the year before where the offense was but Taysom Hill was just on another fucking level. He had 9 carries for 75 yards and 8.3 average on the ground for Taysom Hill, which was an amazing thing that was able to happen after Jamal Williams went out with a hamstring injury. He entered the tent, never came back into the game, went to the locker room. He was done. Hamstring injury. And Jamal Williams was playing good before he went out too, so that kind of sucked. But Taysom Hill, it was Taysom time today, and I loved seeing that. Tony Jones Jr. had himself an all right game. His average on the ground wasn't that great. He had 12 carries for 34 yards with a 2.8 average. But he scored 2 touchdowns, and that's all you really need from a guy like him because Taysom Hill was toting that fucking rock for the big yardage. Jamal Williams had 9 carries for 29 yards with a 3.2 average before leaving with injury. And another thing that I want to talk about with this offense before I move over to the receivers is the offensive line. Another 4-sack game. We have allowed 4 sacks in back-to-back weeks. That shit needs to be cleaned up. Even when there isn't pressure, it's like Derek Carr's PTSD activates and he acts like there is. We need to fix that. I thought it would have been a really big focal point that the Saints were going to try to make sure that they button some things up coming into this game, but holy hell, it did not look like it. Granted, Carolina and Tennessee are 2 teams where their strength is their defensive line. So hopefully next week against the Packers, it'll look a little better. But it still was so disappointing to see Derek Carr getting absolutely annihilated for yet another week. Let's go on to the receivers. Chris Olave had himself another huge game with 6 receptions and 86 yards. One of the greatest catches I have ever seen in my entire life. That shit was insane, and you guys know exactly which one I'm talking about. Rashid Shaheed got involved again with 4 receptions for 63 yards, and Michael Thomas had 7 receptions for 55 yards, and that one butt catch, which was pretty sick. So it's nice to see all 3 of our big 3 wide receivers getting involved in both of these weeks. I just wish that they would get involved in the first half as well, because we scored 6 points in the first half and then 14 in the second half. So if you just make it even, you're scoring 28 points a game instead of fucking 16 one week and 20 the next. We need to make sure we get the first half offense going. Great game by the receivers. Let's move into the defense real quick. One player I want to highlight specifically because of how much just better he's been and how much of a star he's been to start this season is Carl Granderson. Dude, he has been absolutely all over the place. He took part in the fumble that Bryce Young had, and he also got himself a sack, and he was just applying pressure all game. Carl Granderson is one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the NFL, and we've seen sparks for the past few years, but now he seems to be like really consistently coming out and putting some shit on out there. So Carl Granderson had an amazing game. Marcus May had himself a sack. Demario Davis had a sack. Carl Granderson had his sack, of course, and Nathan Shepard, which is pretty good to see, also had a sack as well. Amazing play by the defense. The secondary looked fantastic. Marshawn Lattimore had another great game. Our secondary just looks unfuck with the bull, all except for that last scoring drive that Carolina had. There were some oopsie daisies there, but it wasn't that big of a deal. The game was pretty much over anyway. So great job by our defense. I mean, allowing 17 points, under 20 points for the past 2 games to start this season is a very good sign of things to come. Hopefully they can do the same thing against Jordan Love next week, because I'm not going to lie, the Packers are kind of feisty. And that's probably I think it's our toughest matchup yet. So I'm pretty excited to see how that game turns out. Kicking, Blake Grupe, just killing it yet again. 2 for 2 on field goals, 100%. His long was only 28, but it doesn't matter because he hit both of his extra points as well. 8 points total for Blake Grupe. Just an absolute baller. This dude's fucking amazing. I love him so much, and I think we got the better of the Will Lutz trade because he just hasn't looked good in a while. So going with Blake Grupe was probably the best option. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Another good game by the Saints. An ugly win, but an ugly win is still a win. Remember, this is a fresh, but a fresh team that is just gluing together, trying to figure out its identity. So don't be upset at what you're seeing so far. I love the fact that we were able to incorporate the run game after it sucking literal ass last week. We were able to run the football efficiently. So hopefully if we keep identifying these problems and working them out, we will just get better and better and better as the season progresses. I need this team I need to see it in mid-season form. I'm very excited. Thank you guys so much for watching another video on the channel. I appreciate all the support on the preview for this game, because holy shit, you guys absolutely swarmed in. And we hit 11,000 because of it, so I really appreciate it. Thank you boys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.